Hello, I'm Mary Gordon.
Hi,
Today
I'm
I'll
Mary
share
Gordon.
findings from my
Today I'll
project,
share
Social
findings from
Connections
my
or
project,
Stressors,
Social Connections
analyzing
or
gendered
Stressors,
links between
analyzing
social
gender
media use
links
and college
between
student
social
stress.
media use and
We'll
college
explore
student
how time
stress.
online and
We'll
gender shape
explore
the
how
stress our
time
students
online
feel.
and gender shape the stress our students feel.
Social media is woven into campus life. Research shows that social media can help students cope, but excessive scrolling can backfire, fueling academic pressure, comparison, and information overload. My goal was to examine that trade-off and ask, does gender change the story? Heavy social media engagement is linked to poorer sleep, lower GPAs, and emotional exhaustion. Yet supportive online communities and positive interactions with others can reduce stress and foster emotional support. So, social media is both a risk and a resource. Context matters. Does gender matter? Prior studies suggest it does. Female students face higher stress, often tied to appearance-based comparison, pressure to present an idealized image, and social media distractions. Males report slightly lower stress, but describe pressure from competitive online spaces and are less likely to seek emotional support. We wanted to test these ideas in our college sample. We predicted that more hours on social media would lead to higher levels of perceived stress, and this effect would be stronger for female students. For this study, our sample included 95 college students from one campus, 78 females, 14 males, and 3 identifying as other. They completed an online survey covering demographics, daily social media hours, and the perceived stress scale. We ran Pearson correlations to test if there was a relationship between social media and stress, simple and multiple regressions to estimate how much social media affected stress, and a two-way ANOVA to examine the interaction between gender, social media use, and stress. The first test conducted was the Pearson's product correlation. There was a weak but significant positive relationship between social media use and stress. As social media use increased, stress also increased. The linear regression analysis confirmed that social media use predicted stress. So for each hour online, a student's stress score increased by about 0.2 points on our 10-point scale. In simple terms, staying up late for just one more scroll nudges stress upward. When we threw gender into the mix, the math explained about 30% of the ups and downs in stress. But gender did not make the hour to stress slope steeper or flatter. In other words, extra screen time bumps everyone's stress by roughly the same amount. The ANOVA did show a main effect of gender. Females had higher overall stress. However, the main effect of the social media category was not significant, but the interaction was, suggesting the relationship between social media use and stress differs somewhat by gender. Simply put, heavy use alone did not guarantee higher stress in every case, but stress patterns did vary when we looked at gender and use level together, suggesting the story is more subtle than screen's bad, end of tale. Our hypothesis was partially supported. More time online relates to higher stress, and women report greater stress, but gender did not amplify the hour to stress link in regression. Still, the ANOVA hints that gender shapes how social media use plots onto stress categories, consistent with past work. Bottom line, social media is a complex stressor, and its use is not necessarily worse for women. Context matters: who you follow, why you log in, and how you cope. The key limitations to this study are its cross-sectional design, so we can't suggest causality, and the sample used was predominantly female and from a single campus, which limits generalizability to other populations. Future research should use longitudinal data include more balanced gender and racial groups, and perhaps test interventions like digital wellness workshops. Social media can cheer you up or stress you out. Usage alone doesn't guarantee a negative outcome, but who is using and how clearly matters. Balance is key. Follow uplifting accounts, set screen time breaks, and reach out offline when you feel overwhelmed. Universities should teach balanced online habits while providing targeted mental health support. Thank you for listening. I welcome your questions, and you can reach me anytime at the email on the screen. Have a nice day.